Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Legion Lads. I'm your host, JR. Today we got John and Jose. What's up, guys?
Yo.
What's up?
Man, look at that picture, man. That's what, 2022?
It's
What, that one?
23. Yours was 22.
Oh,
That was 20,000 next year.
Oh, yeah,
That was
2023.
23. We did 23,
Uh,
24. Actually, it might have been 24 because did Toby go to both? He only went to one.
He went to Dad. You know,
No, it was 20. It was 24. It was 23 because we had the powder blues.
okay. Yeah, 23, I think it was. That was the No, because Toby went to
Toby,
two, so
but
it's
he didn't. He
24 because Rob didn't go with us until the third year.
was that the red one?
Daniel went with us on the second year.
No, but Toby went. Toby has a blue jersey. We have the explicit content photo. That was
Yeah, and he also has the red
2024.
one. He also has the red
Does
jersey.
he?
Yeah.
I didn't, my bad. I
Yeah,
guess
because
if you won, I
I
would
went
have
I
remembered.
went I went 2022, then all the boys went with Daniel. That's 2023, and then Rob came in 2024. So yeah. But yes, John, that Pyramid Head picture is badass. Always a big
oh
fan of
yeah, that one,
Saturn.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
super dope. But anyways, we got some news for the audience. Couple things. We want to go ahead and go over the local Legion Lads tournament for June. It's happening on the 22nd. Again, if you guys can make it, it'll be an awesome tournament.
You'll
Um,
be marked safe from JR.
yes, that's true. I won't be able to make it because I will be out of town. So you can go ahead and snag that trophy from me. But the
I
more
won't be able to make it. I'll be in the closet painting.
Get to work, John. We need some
Lame,
Yeah,
terrain.
John.
yeah.
Lame.
Um, but if you can only make one tournament, save that tournament for July, June 12th, because
July,
that is,
June?
wait, did I say July, June?
He said July, June
Man,
12th.
I want Vet Fest to happen both months, man. Why can't we have it all the time? But yeah, July 12th is when the Vet Fest is happening. That's the one we would like you guys to go, so that way we can make that a GT next year. The more people we get, the more likely it'll become a GT next year. So surrounding cities and our locals, please come out, join us. All you have to pay for is the entry fee. The tournament is free to join, and Roman's giving out some really cool prizes. And come hang out with us. Come chat it up. Tell me how bad I am at the game. That'll be all fun.
And and it's also going to be
Terrible.
streamed by Imperial Goldfish, so
Thank you. Yes, it is going to be streamed.
come support them as well.
And it is a LVOIS. So that'd be a lot of fun too. And we also have LVO coming up in October. I want to say, when's the date for the October one again?
Fourth, fifth, sixth, something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think yeah, it's the weekend, the first weekend of October.
Let me
Um,
see. I
and
just had it.
it is going to be a GT. And if you get an LVO invitational, you'll be able to go to LVOIS. So that'll be a lot of
October
fun.
2nd through the 5th.
Yeah. So the weekend, and who does not want to go to Las Vegas? Like always a blast to go. So
We're going
yeah,
deep this year. It's
yeah.
gonna be the Lad Vegas Open.
I think we're gonna have a lot more people this year going
The
from
Lad
from
Vegas
Fresno,
Open.
which is which is
Yeah.
that picture Jose's got in the background is when we went to LVO in 2024. So one of our locals did that. It's funny. It's pretty awesome.
We're gonna have to make a new photo this year.
I need
Yeah.
Noah to make one. He's
I mean,
Yeah.
lagging.
all you got to do is change out the Legion Labs logo and then put some pictures.
And
So
dump
Or
Toby.
or or hear me out. Hear me out, Jose. At your party, we get everybody that's going, and we take a picture in your van.
In my van. It's
there you
not
go.
Yeah. Or
we won't
your
all
wagon,
fit. The lad wagon.
the lad
Yeah,
wagon.
speaking of, I need to make sure I get everybody who's gonna be taking part in that. I need to set up a
Yeah.
chat and all that for LVO.
Yeah, you got to get on the ball rolling because before you know it, October's just around the corner.
Yeah, I'm a procrastinator. But
Well,
once I got the 5 to 6 people locked into the lad wagon, those people are usually also locked in the hotel. So that's easier to figure out where I'm splitting the hotel with when I got the drivers. And since Roman's not gonna make it, I gotta run everybody's backgrounds and see who has the cleanest, safest driver's license because I'm not driving the
Uh,
whole way up there and the whole way down. I need a Chewy, and you get shotgun, you get leg room, you get control over the radio. You don't got to be squeezed in the back with the other sardines back there. Pretty sure one of them will smell like sardines.
I was gonna say was I know you were talking about getting an Airbnb, but if you don't, I think you should look at Golden Nugget because they're offering discounts for those that are going to the LVO. And so I would jump on that as soon as possible so they don't run out. And then, once
They
you
won't
locked in,
run
everyone
out.
could go. Maybe. We'll never know. So at least you'll get a good deal. That's the most important thing. Lock in the good deals before October comes around. So
Good deals.
For
Good
sure.
deal. Good deal, pick.
Blue drink.
all right, boys. Well, like over our going over the factions units, we are gonna go over the corpse this episode.
Most of them
So
are corpses,
Corpses.
yes. Most of them are corpses, waste of
corpse,
space.
what is I'm blanking on the
Say core.
corpse
The
corpse.
cores. Yeah. It's like we're
Cores.
playing zombies or something.
It always throws me off, man, because I see it and it says CORPS. I know that's abbreviated, but I'm just like, it looks like corpse to me. Can you
Most of
guys
them are corpses.
can you guys see it?
No.
No.
Why? Why can't you guys see it?
Uh-oh.
Let me see. No, I just have to put share, I think.
Boom.
There we go. Now you boys can see it. All
I
right.
was gonna say, do I have to do the Always Sunny from Philadelphia with a whiteboard back here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lay it out
Dude,
for us.
great show. I freaking love that show.
I need to watch that show. I only seen clips on it from like
You've
TikTok.
never seen it?
I've only seen like clips and like maybe one or two episodes. It's
Bro,
funny. It's
so
hilarious.
many legendary moments, dude. Oh, me
I
and
believe
Rob talk about it every now and then. It's funny, dude. I keep forgetting there's a lot of people that just either they didn't hear about it or they watched like the first episode and they're like, yeah, this isn't for me, bro. You gotta commit. It is. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. No. Who doesn't love Danny DeVito? Like he's a top tier actor. Like love him a lot, and I just haven't had time to watch it. There's so many things to watch now. Like, where do you get the time?
Predator
Yeah.
Badlands and not Badlands, Killer of Killers on Friday. Woo! It's
I
a good time to
just
be a predator.
I
Alien
just
Alien Earth as well, dude,
yeah.
in the fall.
I just finished Tales of the Underworld, and that was pretty good. So now I'm gonna start Andor season 2. That's my goal.
Just survive the first 6 episodes. The last 6 episodes literally makes the whole 2 seasons.
How many episodes is it? 12?
12.
See, that's how I feel about Acolyte. Acolyte was good. You had the good saber battles and everything. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. They didn't need to do 2 episodes of the witch stuff. But when it got to Darth Plagueis, spoiler alert,
Oh, yeah.
after I said it.
Nobody watches that show anyways.
You're supposed to say spoiler alert before you say spoiler alert.
No,
bro.
man, I'm like Yoda. I say it backwards.
Bro, for those people who haven't seen it, they already know about it. And for those people who like it, already know about it. You're good.
But like that made a lot of sense. Like then that's when the show got good for me. Is just that
The
one
last
scene.
episode?
Yeah, just that last episode because it made sense. It's like, oh, that's where he learned it from. Yada yada yada. Like I don't know why people hated on it so much. Like again, I understand the cameo of Munda. Munda, is that his name? The Jedi
Ooh. Oh,
with the cone head.
yeah. What's his name? Yeah, I know you're talking about. Kiadi.
There you go. Yeah, like I understand that breaks lore, but then again, Star Wars is always breaking lore. Like every movie, it breaks some kind of lore. But and I was actually shocked to learn that he was a Jedi Knight. He wasn't a master on the council.
Yeah.
That's
The
crazy.
memes on Facebook have been great.
Yeah.
Dude.
Did that just come out, be revealed, or has that always been a thing?
I think it's always been a
It's always
thing.
been a
They
thing.
just you just
That-
always
that's
think he's a master because he's on the sitting at the council. You're like, he must be.
that's
no,
why he didn't. That's why he didn't get Anakin voted in. He's like, nah, I'm the only knight here. Get out of here.
Well, that just makes Anakin. But Anakin was just like, this has never been done. He should have the Conehead guy should have raised his hand and be like, yeah, it's been done. All right, boys, let's get on
He's like,
over
this is
to.
outrageous. He's all for you.
He's like, I'll chill. And apparently, he's got like 6 wives,
12, I thought.
12 wives. Like, I thought you're not supposed to get. Anyways,
Because his
again,
race is dying.
Star Wars breaks lore all the time. It doesn't matter.
I was gonna say too, his clones also hated him because he pushed them too hard.
Really?
Yeah, his from the lore that I remember, like his clones didn't like him either.
Who knows, man? It's one day it's lore, next day it's not lore. I mean, we have two stories of Kanan, like when he was with his Jedi Master. One in the Bad Batch and one in a comic book. But I guess Bad Batch is now canon because it's a TV show.
Yeah, the comic books aren't canon.
Yeah, that's why I hate when they do anything comic book because comic book usually just gets ignored.
Yeah, well, it does because that's part of the LFL clause. Like they were talking about it because I love K2SO. He's my boy. Like loved him since Rogue One, but like in Andor when they show the origin, it doesn't match up to the comic book origin of how they met. And then when people start pointing that out, then it came to the light that LFL's like, well, whatever happens in TV media like supersedes any form of comic book. So I'm like, that's not how they met. And then I'm like, oh, I guess it is how they met now. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is dumb. I don't care for it, but that's why I don't usually read the comic books. I mean, the comic books are
Comics are
fun.
great, dude.
Yeah, like that Vader against Maul. That's a great comic. Again, but it's not lore. They're not canon,
Hmm.
I guess. All right, boys.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and go over this core. Um, I kind of wanted to classify what we think core should be doing because we've already done special forces, support, and heavies, and I feel like ranking those out of context of people who are getting, new to the game or maybe a little bit experts. Like, what do you expect the core to be doing? I think that's how we should be ranking them. So, Jose, in your opinion, what do you think your core should be doing when you're ranking them? Like, what's the
That's
purpose in the game?
that's That's very broad because they all do different things. Some kill, some don't. Some are there just a sponge, some ain't. Some generate tokens, some don't. Some want orders, some don't. I think it's just gonna be like
Well, I mean, like what do you want your core to be doing, right? So, like a good example is heavies. I think heavies have to be utilized either have a very strong damage output or can tank a lot of damage, obviously, because they're big robots or big vehicles. I'm sorry. And so when you're paying for that heavy, that's what you want it to do. Um, and I feel like for our core option, think of it like that. Like, what do these guys' role need to be filling in your army in the game?
yeah, well, that's what I said. The answer is the same. It's broad because B1s are there as like pseudo passes and they can swarm something that can't kill them in one shot, tying things up. Then you got B2s that are like death machines. You know, they can sit on points, but you really want them killing stuff. They can soak up some stuff, but they're not really. They're too expensive to make them soak up stuff. Like I said, it varies on really what you want them to do. Like that's the issue I'm having. Like tanks and stuff, it's easy. You either go boom or you stay alive and just be a distraction. That's really all there is.
Yeah. So, core, what about you, John?
I was thinking like maybe probably kind of like Jose said with the tank, like they either go boom or they do something. I think that's similar. Like for me, like my play style, like I usually send my core to go grab points. Unless if they're like beefed up, then they'll usually shoot. But they're like my objective grabbers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and also like with them too, like you have to take them in any list, so they're a requirement anyways. So
Yeah, the way I'm
I don't know.
ranking, good.
But I was just gonna say, like I don't know. It's kind of like a double edged sword for like ranking them because they could do either or.
Yeah. I'm kind of ranking these guys because, like you guys had said, you have to take these. These are one of the units that you have to take in an army, and they're also unique in the sense that you can take 6 of them. All the other ranks have you can only take a maximum of 3. Now that changes with battle forces and special unit abilities.
Detachments.
Right. So, cores being 6, I'm ranking them on the minimum. Like if I take 3 of them, are they effective? Right? Because you have to take at least 3. And then the maximum, are they really strong at the maximum? Right?
Okay.
Because yeah, that's how I'm looking at this when I'm ranking the core units. So we'll start off with the CIS B1s. John, where do you think the B1s should go?
So we're trying to rank them like,
You're trying to rank them in the
okay,
sense that
yeah,
they are a requirement to take them, so you need a minimum of 3, right? So it's like,
3, right?
are they effective when they're at when you take the minimum? But again, though, you could take 6. Are they really good when you take 6? Because like this is one of the units that you could spam effectively, and does it do a good job at spamming 6? Like, is it necessary to spam 6, or is it really strong to spam 6? And if you're taking 3 just to fill your list, I wouldn't say that's really good. You know what I mean?
So I think the B1s are probably at, at least like the best in this category. What, like one of the best. I don't know where my ranking is yet, but
Mm.
my thought process behind it is if you take 3, they're going to be able to coordinate your army in CIS. Um, they also have the 6 bodies, so they're I think they're the close to the most health core unit if you don't have any upgrades on them. Um, and putting upgrades on them to make them bigger, like bigger squads. Um, so I want to put them at A tier. I think.
A tier? Okay. What about you, Jose?
A, not even a question. At 3, they're great because sorry. At 3, they're good because you can backfill with a bunch of CIS nonsense. Um, you get 3, like I said, B1s are cool because they're pseudo passes. You get to move your 36-point unit, then your opponent has to go, then another 36-point unit, then your opponent has to go, another 36, they have to go. So at 3, they're great. You can take advantage of paying sub what, like 150 points for 3, maybe less. My math is terrible. 100, 36, 36. Yeah, it's like 100 something points. And then you have 900 points to backfill everything else. They're great in mass quantity. 6B1s are just as atrocious because now you have 6 passes. You're still only putting minimal points into it. You're still spamming some stuff, not as much as you would if you didn't have the 3 extra. Then they're cheap enough where you can put upgrades on them. Um, they're obnoxiously good as a double squad. Um, Even and not as a double squad, they can tie things up and you're not gonna kill them most of the time in one shot. And if you do manage to kill some, well, cool. Now I'm just gonna go and tie you up with another one, and now they're safe, and you can't disengage, you can't do nothing because you're tied up with 2. Very versatile, very points effective. All their upgrades are great. I don't think there's a bad upgrade on them. Maybe the RPS, but other than that, they check all the boxes, they do all the things, they give you all the benefits. They're really cheap. No other core does what they do. So, hey.
So I actually disagree with both you guys. I want to put these guys at B because I don't think these guys are very effective if you take the minimum 3. Sure, the Cornate's really strong, but the Cornate's really strong when you take 6 of these guys. And I think that's what you do when you take B1s, is you take 6 because they're so cheap. They're actually 38 points, and they got
Okay.
6 bodies, so that's a lot to chew through. Granted they shoot white dice, but like you guys have said before, these are great POI. cappers, and on top of that, they're glory troopers, so they don't lose an action, you know. And I don't like when I say B, I want to say high B, low A. But the reason why I say B though is because one thing that didn't get a buff that I think should have got a buff, and a lot of people disagree with me, that I think coordinated should have got range 1 to 2 because the game is spread out so much that like if you have 6 of them, you could do the daisy chain, but that's a lot of spreading them out and then potentially, getting them killed out of cover. Three, they're just the easiest target to delete. And I don't think they're going to be that effective. Um, but
A
in this,
lot of the lists, sorry, but a lot of the lists that CIS are going places with are only using three.
give me
So
one
that's
example.
one example is gonna be EXD top four. And that's
Yeah, but
CIS. It's still Battle Force. It's CIS. It's
yeah,
only taking
but that's again
okay.
that's
The
Battle Force,
Rob's
but that's only like
Rob's up.
one to two B
Okay,
ones, and they're usually
Rob's up.
taking the medic for that.
Yeah, and then Rob's opponent at Kubla Khan, he had two because he had Black Sun, I think, or some other nonsense in it. And so you're just using two. Yeah, you're buffing your core, but you're still only taking two, and it's not a penalty. You're not taking a hit. So
They
they're
couldn't
being
wait
taken, and
in Rob's final game.
I want to say he didn't have max B2s.
He didn't. Yeah, he had B2s in there because I was gonna
Or
say
no, but
he had.
he didn't have B1 or he didn't
Yeah,
have
he
max
had
he
he
had
had two B1s and a B2.
but that's what I'm
But
saying. Like even get that once again, he made it to a top spot with minimum B1s because taking those two B1s allowed him to points to put into other stuff like B2s, aquas, um, crabs,
yeah,
stuff
but
like
what
that.
I'm saying though is like that was because he was able to afford the crabs, the
But that's what
B2s,
I'm saying. Like I don't
the
think
aqua droids, and like as far as they are cheap. And again, I don't disagree with your guys' placement in A. I just think it's a high B instead of a low A because they're just not as effective as they once were in the game.
mm,
And just like you said in that final game, Rob's final Kublai Khan game, is they were just there to cap objectives. That was it. They didn't do anything. And the only reason why they were able to safely cap objectives is because they're behind a LOS. Like, so that doesn't scream to me effectiveness. That doesn't scream to me like, oh,
yeah, but that's the thing I'm trying to tell you. It allowed him to take
but any
better
army
things
could do
than he
that.
was.
Any army could do that.
No, no,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. People
no.
people take rebel trooper, naked rebel troopers all the time. People
Because
take people
it's better than vets.
Empire is notorious for taking naked storms all the time, and they do nothing.
Naked Storms has have always been the pick for them.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
not
saying. Is it's to me, you're feeling the axe
but
for your act padding
you
because
can
you're
you
required to take a minimum of
yes,
three,
but
right?
if you took three Naked Storms, that's three Naked Storms,
Hmm.
that's what 50 extra points or they're what 40 44, 48, something like that. That's 30 extra points that keeps you from taking an extra heavy gun.
But what I'm
That's
saying
th
is that I don't think the only thing that should determine a unit is good is just how cheap it is.
well then to be the to play devil's advocate here, and we have 2 to 3 tapes to prove it. Cheap
Sure.
is where you were placing your
Well,
bucket and most
yeah,
other.
because of all the other stuff that it had, correct?
Yes, but these cheap things allow you. The difference is, you take three B1s and you can fit in a whole nother powerhouse unit.
What I'm saying is that
If you take three naked, if you when you pay for three naked, stormtroopers, you're not taking a heavy gun on a
you're
special
not putting.
forces.
Well, I guess you
No,
could
no,
put.
but I'm saying it takes away from your army three at the at the price cost of 48 points, I believe, per storm, you're robbing yourself of a heavy. Whereas with three B2 or with three B1s,
Mhm.
you're not robbing yourself of a heavy. As a matter of fact, you're allowing yourself room to take an extra aqua because of the saved 30 odd points, 40 odd points, 50 odd points.
Again, I'm solely basing this on what this unit does, and I don't disagree with you guys. A lot of things I don't disagree with you guys. I just don't think it deserves a stay. But again, majority
Mhm.
here. So you guys, it's gonna be the A, and you know,
Stop playing down CIS. We know how
I'm
you
not
really
playing
feel.
it down. I just don't think B1s are as good as they are. Like again, I think you spam B1s as opposed to taking cheap activations. But you do make a good point, Jose. If you take just the minimum 3, that allows your other army to be super buffed up, right?
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say I would agree with what you're saying. Like, I think they are low A, definitely high B. I think just compared to all the other core options that we have here, B1s have that the coordinate, so they have a little more like help get you order control. Is
sure.
kind of why I put them at low A.
And again, I do agree with you. That is a good point, John. Is like B1s are unique in that you can make a list that gives you full order control. And that's huge, right? To be able to go with whatever you want is really huge. So if you're really good at keeping that daisy chain and then coordinating to everything else that you need to be coordinated, you just go with whatever you want.
I
And like,
mean, I mean, if you really wanted a bigger daisy chain, JR, you could pay 3 points and put the antenna on them, and it's range 1 to 2.
maybe I will
And
one
it's
day,
only
but
3 points. It's only three points. You cannot
yeah,
tell me you can't fit 12 points in a CISS to do your range 2 coordination.
that is 18 points though. 18 points that I could spend elsewhere.
Oh God. See,
I will say for the record, I am on board with changing them to range 2, only
No.
because the clone
Oh,
sharing got to range 2.
oh, you mean coordinate, coordinate. Yeah.
Coordinate, yeah, yeah.
And then
Got to make
that
it fair.
upgrade you're talking about, Jose, could make the coordinate to range 3. Then I'm on
is it
board.
range 3?
No. It's not range 3.
Oh, I
It's
was like,
only range
what?
Okay,
2.
now we're
I,
stretching it.
I'm saying, yeah.
Now we're getting
Yeah,
You
into
know
you can
what?
get
crazy realm.
you can get range 3
Infinite.
coordinate if we get range 4 token sharing. Not with non
Oh
line of sight
my
With
rules.
god!
no line of
No line
sight.
of sight rules.
All right, moving on, boys. We got BTs. So this one was a little tough to me. I wanted to put it in S tier, but I'm gonna put it in A. I want to put it. That's my rank in A for a couple reasons. Well, let me talk about all the good it does. This unit has 2 health each. It's red saves, and you can give it a heavy option that has blast, or the ACM is pretty cheap. It is pretty pricey. I think it's the most expensive core option there is against
Stupid expensive.
against all the other factions, which is sitting at 64, I believe. And but that's nothing to sneeze at because it rolls 2 blacks, and that's 2 blacks per motto. And again, CS is generally a cheap army. However, I don't see you spamming 6 of these. I see you taking the minimum of 3, and putting the ACM is really strong. The drawbacks and the reason why I want to put it in A is because its gun is only range 2, aside from the H, what is it, the Ha? Um,
The hawk cannon, the only option you should be taking.
no, because the ACM's cheap, and again, that's not a bad thing that this is only range 2 because the game wants to be played at range 2, so
It's
it's
to me,
really effective.
it's just preference because I have tried the ACM
Mhm.
and it is cheaper with the ACM, but I've rolled that ACM pool and gotten jack shit.
Well, you don't
And
roll good
on
when you
the
roll red
and and,
dice.
and on the flip side, the way I like to run them is a little bit more expensive because it's the tac droid with the Ha, and that's so beefy for just like I feel like I hit when that happens. Like it's because you're adding an extra red, you're getting blast, all this stuff, so no cover, you don't gotta worry about cover
You're
bullshit.
losing a red.
And you're
So the
get
ACM rolls 3 red,
no,
and
I
then the
know,
Ha rolls 2 red and a white.
but I'm getting the red from the tac droid.
Well, see, now you're adding in stuff, right?
No, that's why I
Because
said no, that's why I said that's the way I run it. Like
but
because of the
you
way I
could
run
run
it.
it a T series in the ACM and you get 4 reds.
Yeah, and I've done that and I've had it all eaten by cover.
Sure. It's possible to be
So
eaten by
no,
cover,
that's
but
it's just a preference thing because like I said, people are like Son of Skywalker is amazing, and you saw me whiff an entire black roll. So it
sure.
is probably just me, but I'm just saying like the preference for me is the Ha all day long.
Yeah, I feel like if you take this is the one core option that you could take three of, and it would feel strong because
Oh yeah, 100%.
they got 6 health and they're behind red saves. Again, my negatives are it's only got a range 2 gun, and then it's pretty expensive. So that's why I want to put it in A and not S. Um, what do you think, John? Where do you want to put it?
So for me, I would put them in S tier, but I'm going to put them in A because of I want to say, if I remember correctly, I want to say that they're the best core in the game for their health value and their dice roll.
Hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
because I don't think any other core has 2 health or red save. I don't think.
I think you're right on that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so like I know their points high or their point value is high, but I want to say I think we're the best core in the game currently. Um, and I would put them in S, but because they shoot at range 2, um, it makes it a little bit harder for them to. You want to get in with them, but they can still hold down points. So I'm gonna go above the B1s at A tier.
Yeah, and another thing is this is a droid trooper, so it doesn't lose an action when it's suppressed. And in fact, it can't be suppressed. So that's why they're really strong just right off the bat. Jose, where would you put this guy?
I'm lower than you guys.
Oh,
Yeah. So my reasoning is they need help. Um,
they need to be cheaper. I agree.
no, not cheaper. You know it's funny? You're
Wow.
gonna laugh, but when you were looking, I'm like, they could do like 5 points less.
I agree. I
I,
No,
agree.
no, no. Here,
I mean, like, with the arcs, like, yeah, I agree.
no, no. Hear me out. Hear
Yeah.
me out. Um, Once again, I'm in agreement with you guys on a lot of things. Like, it's funny, people look at me like, yeah, but arcs and this, like, yeah, I agree with you. They're stupid. I agree 100%. They should be nerfed. What? Wait, my argument went out the window. Yeah, it did, sir. Shut up. No, I believe I wholeheartedly like what they do in the movies and in the cartoons. They rock the S. I don't think they're an A. I want to say high B because they need facilitation. And the facilitation, by what I mean by that is you need some investments in it. You need to be an EXD. You need to have Grievous march you up. You need to take Crabs to scout you up to help compensate for that range too. Um, I haven't faced off against them in anything other than clones, so maybe it's just clone brain where I'm like, they're not that scary. Because I've rocked these things with Super Fives. Like I've rocked them. And for what you're getting, like they're pretty expensive. And like I said, the way for me like comfortably running them is with the tac droid and the Haw. But then even then, if I'm taking the tac droid and the Haw, I'm taking Grievous to ruthless them up. Um, and it's just like if you position wrong, you're not getting a shot off turn one. And if you position wrong, you're gonna get shot on turn one. And if you want to double move to try to find a safe spot to get your range two off here, it's even worse for you. Um, but to me, they're high B, but just because, in my opinion, like B2, B1s, they don't need an activator, they don't need a facilitator. You just take them, they're your passes, they're gonna do what you need to get done, and that's it. You lose B1s, that's it. I mean, model count, you're getting four, five if you take a heavy and an attack droid. But if you take one nasty hit, I don't care if you got 2 health per mini. If you take a 4 shot uncontested, no cover, and lose two of them, well, now you're a shit efficiency unit that you're overpaying for. Um, I want to say I miss the armor, but I don't know if I want to say that it's better that they have red saves now, no armor, because I kind of miss the armor. I feel like
Oh, it's way better.
I'm,
Way better that they had red saves.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I
The
don't feel
armor
that
was
way.
all right, but I
Yeah.
feel
I
like with
honestly
the
don't.
range, I feel
Good.
like with range 4 impact, I think losing the armor and getting a red save is better.
I don't know, dude. Like I've used them. And once again, Jared can tell you guys I have terrible red dice rolls. I've picked up more of these things in being shot in New Legion than I did Old Legion. Like old Legion, I'd be surprised if I lost one. New Legion, I'm not surprised when I pick two of them up. And maybe cover plays into that too. But once again, looking at the board, I see a unit that is strong but degradates really fast to bad shots, a bad cover roll, and this is toast. Like you're paying you're paying close like in my setup, I'm paying like 90 plus. I eat a shot and make a bad roll, and now I have two models on the table, three models on the table. Whereas I pay 56 for clones and I take a bad shot and that body still can hide and be a token battery. Like these things can't do nothing once they're wounded. Like it's at that point you're just running them in hoping just to tie something up, and that's not a
Well,
good
they're
cost when you
great.
can
They're great
when
at
you could
capping POI, right? Because it takes
no, no.
a little bit more of an effort to kill them.
Yeah, no, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like when you're at that point, when you're paying 90 points for a wounded unit to do that, you could just turn around and take 36 points and do that.
Sure.
So, but yeah, no, you guys outvoted me. I just think that they're a unit that needs a little bit of babysitting in terms of getting them where they need to be and having them keep their efficiency.
Okay. Moving on, we have Geonosians. Geonosians, I don't think they're S tier. I want to put them. Man, that's so hard. I want to put them at A tier. The reason, well,
No,
no. I want to
they
put
need to
them
be
at.
spammed to be
Yeah,
great.
they do need to be spammed. So I think in that for that reason, I want to put them at. I think C tier. Um, but I hope I don't know. Okay, maybe you guys convince me, but uh, I want to put them in C tier because they're 45 points. They are white saves. They do surge to defend. They do their ranged weapon is only 1 to 2. Granted, it is a white and a black. But if you're not making these super squads and spamming them, it's not that great, right? It's not
Hmm.
that great of a shot. They do have a free jump 3 move, so they are very mobile. So they are great POI cappers, and they can get to places far away. But I mean, these guys die faster than the B1s die. And again, I did take these to LVO, but they were majority of them were super squads. So you're throwing way more dice at that, and that's it's a little bit pricey. But just yeah, I want to say C tier for me. What about you, Jose?
Yeah, no, C tier. They are not great unless they're spammed, and when you're spamming them, you're double squatting them, then you need to facilitate them with Poggle, command cards, all that good stuff. They're not something that you could just splash two of and feel confident about it. And even then, you get those fat dice pulls we seen in your game at LVO, like when those dice miss, like,
Yeah,
holy crap, I'm dead.
yep, pretty
So,
much.
yeah, no, they need to be big, they need to be spammed, they need Poggle, they need command cards. So for that alone, like it's a cool unit when it works, it goes bang. When it doesn't, you're like JR and you get sent home.
Dang, rub it in.
Damn.
Rub it in. Wait,
Jeez.
how many top eights did you make?
Oh,
Okay.
I was
All
at
right. All right.
home. I was at
Okay.
home
All right.
prepping.
All right. All right, John, where would you put the Genotions?
Well, I was gonna say, for the record, I think you got robbed third place. But
It's all
anyways,
right. It's all good.
you should have been third place. But anyway, I'm gonna agree with Jose. C tier definitely. Like outside of taking Poggle, which is a strong suit because you coordinate. I think with Poggle, right?
No, it's Pog. Well, you can with this 2-pip. If you
Yeah,
play this
the
two
Yeah,
two
pip,
yeah,
you
pips.
get
just soup
coordinate.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably like the best part. And then like having big squads, like they're better like spammed, like everything that Jose said. So I'm gonna agree with Jose and say C.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you guys. All right, moving on to the Republic's one and only core option right now. Um, Jose, take the
S
cake
tier.
here, because okay, John, go for it. Go for it. Tell us
Go,
why.
John.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
We'll
Go
give it.
Jose.
You're
I was
not
just
kidding.
kidding.
You
Hey,
said that too fast to be kidding.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
Search your
don't back
feelings.
down.
Search your
Don't.
feelings. You know
Yeah,
it to be
tell us
true.
why. Tell us why they're S tier.
No, I was kidding. They're not S tier.
Okay, okay.
Traitor.
I'm gonna say probably A tier, but they're gonna be below the B2s.
Why would you put them A tier?
What?
Uh, because they do have the token sharing. They get reliable one. They are red saves. They have that surge that can give any clone surge to anything. So offensively, defensively. Um, I know they're your only option other than pikes in Republic,
Right.
but I mean you're obviously gonna take clones over pikes unless if you're running something different. Um, and just the clone sharing alone. Uh, but I don't think like they're definitely not S tier. So
Okay, so Jose, I want
Yeah,
you
you
to
go.
I want you to be the deciding factor, okay? Because I want to put him in S tier.
Yep.
And the
You don't
only
even need.
yeah, the only
oh
reason
what?
Yeah,
why
yeah,
wow, I just got bamboozled.
bro.
the reason why they're S tier is because of one keyword, and that's clone token sharing. Like these guys
Well,
come
that's
in with
not a keyword technically.
well, it is in the rule book, but um, the reason why is because they have reliable one. You can take the three minimum, and they still be really good because you can share those reliable.
Naked,
Yeah,
naked.
naked. You can share them that surge with your core, which are already red saves, and they can use it for themselves in defense
or your saber,
or your
if you're dumb
saber,
enough to take one.
and then their token batteries. You come in the board, you just aim dodge, aim dodge, aim dodge. Whatever your army needs, these guys are supplying it. Like you need them to give you an aim, take an aim. You need them to take defense, take a dodge. Like oh, there's a POI, I need him to go cap, go get it, cap. And the best part, I mean, sorry, the clone trooper keyword is already the best part. But on top of that, these guys are unique in that they're courage two. That's what you used to pay more for phase twos that were courage two, and now you pay cheaper than that, and they're better than phase one, right? I don't think they're the same. Like the phase ones were cheaper,
Phase
but
ones didn't have reliable, and
yeah,
they were missing
yeah,
a slot, and they
yeah, you
were
could do so much. Just like Jose, Jose's probably gonna talk about the super squads, right? Like that's huge, and they get to put a commander like Ahsoka could go on these guys. Like again, yeah, S tier. What about you?
not like it's great. Everything you just said is spot on, dude. And the funny thing is, you can't pay attention to them. And here's why I say you can't pay attention to them. Because if they got an aim, guess where that aim's going? It's not going to another infantry. You got those nasty arcs that are gonna move tactical, grab that aim, and smash you in the face. And because you have to worry about the arcs, you're not gonna plink these clones. And the worst part is, because of that reliable, they can give the arcs a extra block. They can extra block for themselves. They can hit the extra mark that they need. um, they're great options. And like I said, don't give me like Jared can tell you guys, super squads. Everybody was like, ah, it's a waste of time. It's stupid. It's cool, but it's a gimmick. Jared ate the super squad to the face. He
Yeah,
did not. He did not like it. He ate it twice. One unit butchered his droidicas. He backed them off, and then I ran the unit to the center point, and then butchered like three different things at once. Um, Ahsoka, Super Ahsoka is gonna be dope because now that unit has independent dodge. So now
And block.
you got a charging shotgun Ahsoka that if you peel five models off, you're still eating an Obi-Wan lightsaber.
yep,
And
yep.
and pure volume, like a Super Fives, you're eating anywhere from 13 to 14 dice. Bro, that is a pool that's better than OG clones with the Z6. Like it is
Yeah, definitely.
ridiculous.
Mm.
It is ridiculous. If you take a full shotgun charging fives or a full shotgun charging Ahsoka to the face and you have one model left, consider that a win.
Yeah, yeah. Well, moving on. Uh, we
So
went over.
real quick, I'll say like I know I was joking, but I did not realize you're both gonna put it in
I
S.
don't know why you didn't put it in S. Like,
Like
there's nothing
John,
wrong with
here
these guys.
John, here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I'm not, and Jared knows, like, I'm dead serious, bro. I know you love Bad Batch, and there's a ton of
yeah.
things that are scared to throw hands with Bad Batch. If I get a shot to throw a double Super Soka or a double Super Fives, oh, it's going right into Bad Batch, and we have the dice
Oh
to
no,
make
no
a dent.
doubt.
Like,
Like I said, I have a 6 sack list I want to run, so
woo.
I
Yeah,
definitely believe you on that.
yeah. It's just. Ugh. Okay, moving on. Rebel Troopers. So I want to put these guys in. You know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Jose, where would you put these guys?
In the spirit of Nick, and I agree with
No, no, no,
Nick.
no, no, no. Get Nick out
In
of
the
your head.
spirit.
I just said I agree. I
Okay,
agree.
okay.
I've hated them forever. To me, you always had to pay. It was always, you know, B1s are amazing. B2s are amazing. Stout stormtroopers, stout shore troopers. Everything is good. And then rebel players are like, I'm playing Hero Hammer, I gotta pay my 3 core tax. Like, you weren't excited to take these guys at all. And most people chose to take vets, vets and their Mark twos. These guys were bottom of the barrel. They had their time when they had the captain situational awareness spam balls, but then because Pikes abused that, they took an indirect hit because of that. But to me, this is the epitome of I'm taking these because I'm stuck. Because here's the thing: if you were to delete rebel troopers from the game, nobody would cry about it. Nobody would be upset about it. No one
I
would
think
shed a
people
tear.
would be.
No.
Well, other than the fact that removing
Oh,
stuff from a game also
forget the
bad.
removing the stuff. I just mean if they were just to one day just not exist, not like I get the it's hard to separate the two, but uh, separate hating the fact that they were removed. Like separate that. Like if they just weren't if they were taken, I feel like if they were taken away from the game, you wouldn't be as upset compared to Pathfinders being taken out or IRG being taken out or those things were utility pieces that saw some play, whether it be heavies like Embiston, board manipulation like Palp, or straight up just rock solid form of Guardian in the IRG. Rebels are literally just a point soak, and even if you put them on a POI, chances are they're going to get one shot by almost anything. Agile's great. 2 dodges is good, but like I've said before on this podcast, we live in a world where dodges just aren't what they used to be, especially on white units. White racist. No, I'm kidding. White save units. So for me, I just F.
F.
Oh,
F.
Whoa. Okay.
wow.
All right.
F.
That's a
I'd rather
Whoa.
that's
if
a
I'm playing rebels, like
spicy take.
if I was to
Oh
pull my
man.
rebels, if I was to pull my
Oh.
rebels out of the glass case, like I'm playing vets. I'm just throwing my rebels to the side.
Oh.
Like
Okay.
Wow.
when you borrowed my Empire stuff for your learn to plays, I'm like, dang it, I actually want to play those things. But then when I was pulling out my Rebel Troopers, I'm like, yeah, I don't even care if he takes these. I got another Luke and I got
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god.
Okay. I'll go next. I'll go next. So, wow, I can't believe we did an F tier. I want to put these guys in B tier, and the reason for that is
gross.
because they have nimble. The one thing that we've been screaming about the whole time in this game. Well, sorry, not nimble, agile one. The one thing we've been screaming out ever since the game came out is Rebel Troopers needed something more, and agile one was that keyword that we wanted. Make because no matter what, once you're moving onto the field, you get a dodge, and then you get to keep that dodge and keep using it. So
Not enough,
it
man.
keeps you survive longer. Now, they are still squishy and they still need to go. I think they always should be moving and then shooting or moving, whatever they need. But the first action should always be moving to get this dodge. And again, I don't think you spam them, right? I think you take a minimum of 3 to fill your axe. They do suffer because they have the courage one, um, but they have definitely gone up in survivability because of the agile one. Again, they can get shot at before they move, which is why I think you only take 3. And there are easy targets. But I think they survive longer than B1s, in my opinion. Um, that's why I want to say B, because they are steering in the right direction. They're headed the right direction. They could probably be a little bit more cheaper, but again, they're definitely not F tier, in my opinion.
So you said,
Oh,
hold on.
please
You said,
hold on. Order 66, my man. I don't know your name. I don't know if you even listen to our podcast. But if you make Viking Rebels, I will run Rebels and make
so
a Rebel Trooper list and just spam the hell out of them.
so you said ranking them at their base, which is 4. So even with a dodge and even with 2 dodges, so if cover would have been old cover with 2 dodges, I'll take that all day. Knock 1 off, dodge 3, dodge 2. Knock 2
Sure, they
off,
do suffer
dodge
in that
2.
sense. Sure.
So my thing is when you're looking at the options like beat there, I don't think they're more survivable because they can't compete with the dice pools that are out there. Like a regular ACM B2, your golden child, has a high probability of one-shotting these things. High probability of one-shotting these things. Aquas infiltrate, move on. Let's say they don't have an order. Let's say they just had emergency comms. High shot at one-shotting these things. Cut like it's insane the amount of dice we're throwing into a naked squad, and then even then you don't want to point invest in them because they're gonna get knocked super easy. Like it's wild to me, like that's where they go and that's what happens. Look at none of these other core units have the same probability of getting one shot, in my opinion. Clones, you can roll red dice
Well,
and
if
screw
you're gonna
yourself.
argue that it's because the dice pool went up, B1s can get easily one-shotted now.
But it's not often.
Neither is killing Rebel Troopers now with the Dodge, right? So
I've one shot plenty of rebel troopers.
again, they're in the right direction, but
It's
that's
not enough.
B might be a little bit too high for me to rank them. Maybe C is the better. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with C because you are right, Jose. Like they are susceptible to getting hit really hard and potentially one shot, especially if they don't move first, right? Because they don't have that free dodge. But I do think they have a little bit more of a survivability with that dodge and nimble. Um,
I think they
so
should have been given. They should, with the way the game is going. And call me dumb. Say I'm crazy. I said this when they first got the changes. They needed agile and they needed to be given low profile.
again, it's just us adding more keywords to try to make a unit better, right? And I feel like they did that with Agile One. But so that's why I'm gonna put them in C tier. It's because they're still squishy, but they definitely have a better survivability. John, you gotta round us out here. Where you gonna go?
Oh boy, you guys are not gonna like my answer.
He's
I'm
not
gonna
S
go
tier, baby.
D. No, I'm gonna go D tier, and I think yeah, the nimble and the agile are great. The problem is you do have to keep moving them in order to get that agile to keep going. Um, you can hold down a point, but you're still only taking one dodge if you're gonna shoot at all. Um, the other thing that kind of sucks with them is that courage one as well. So they get shot once, they got one suppression. They get shot again, now they're over their courage value. Um, I would give them a higher ranking because they do shoot black dice, but um, yeah, I just think with the agile, like they have to be constantly moving, and I feel like with if you're gonna take 3 of them with your core, you don't want them to move too much. Like you want them to kind of like support like a POI, but if they stay on a POI, they're just gonna get shot. Especially with that courage value of being only one, it's not great.
Yeah, like what's your answer when You're trying to jump on a POI with these guys, and Aquas are sitting at the POI. Aquas are sitting at the other
It's
POI.
easy when you say what happens when rebel troopers go against these guys? What happens when they go against these guys? Yeah, of course, it's the same answer for B1s. What happened if B1s go against ARC troopers, right?
But the thing is,
It's
B1s
just
don't need to.
it,
B1s don't need to do that.
neither do rebel
B1s,
troopers.
if they're your core, and
What
okay,
are the what are the
I'll give
rebels?
you hold on. I'll give you the pass on the fact that they live and exist in a 20,000 activation army. There you go. That's the pass. But
So like again, if you're focusing the rebel troopers, problem are you might get hit by supercell, you might get hit by a bus is a good LOS blocker. Like again, I just don't think they're that bad. And
I'm
I
not shooting rebel troopers because they're bad. I'm
well,
blowing up Supercell and I'm blowing up the buses.
exactly. So they and again,
But when
I
they have to get involved, there's not good staying power. That's the thing. Like it's
so
crazy.
I don't think they're better than Geonosian warriors. Well actually they are a
No,
little bit.
I said D as in dog.
Oh, I thought
D.
you said B. D.
Nah, hell
Okay.
nah, dude.
D as
Okay.
in
All right. All
dog.
right.
We would have to give John a drug test if he said that.
I thought he said
No,
B for a
no,
second.
no.
Or say your
Okay.
alphabet backwards and walk in a straight line.
All right. All right. All right. So one of us has to compromise. Jose.
No, it goes in the middle. I said F, you said C, so the break
D.
point's D.
All right. All right. All right. Moving on. All right. We'll actually do fleet troopers first. John, where do you think fleet troopers should go?
Can you remind me what they do?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've.
So they have charge. They're health one, courage one. There's four in a unit. They surge to hit and they surge to defend, speed two, and then their melee profile, or sorry, their gun is melee to range two, and they shoot two white dice per mini. Now
And
it's
they got
important to
charge.
know that you can give them a shotgun, which gives you pierce one,
They
for
got
22
charge.
points. Yeah, and it's two reds
Right, and there's courage one health charge.
charge. Yep.
Uh, Man, I want to put these guys at B tier. I think because you can take three of them, and they're still good even with the upgrade with shotgun. They can hold a point, or they could charge into someone that's too close. I don't know how many times I've played Michael, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think those guys are gonna get in, and then they get in, and they do wreck shop, because of that charge keyword. Um, I think like they are range two, but again, they don't really have like the keywords that like the the droids have. So I'm gonna put them at probably low B is my answer.
So I actually agree with you, John. The fact that they have charge, the two white dice, you can give them a gun that's relatively cheap for 22 points. You get two reds, and you can make these guys a super squad. So if you can get these guys like up there and hit them first, that's what eight whites and then two reds, surging to hit. Pierce one.
Mm.
Anything. I
Their
think
double squad's only four, not five?
no, it is five. I'm talking about just the naked is four.
Yeah,
So
but if you do a double squad, that's nine in a shotgun.
that's 18. 18 white
Mm-hmm.
dice plus two
Surge to
reds.
hit.
Yeah. And I think any core option that has a Pierce gun is huge. I think does the clone infantry still have the Pierce gun? The
Mm-hmm.
shotgun?
Yeah,
Yeah,
hell
so
yeah.
like
Yeah,
you could
they
you could
still have the
you could
shotgun guy.
you
And
could spam.
their shotgun is two reds, right?
Yeah, I believe it is two reds. But you could spam these guys and I think Pierce is just huge, right? Um
Yeah,
so
especially with that charge keyword too, like you said.
yeah. The
Yeah.
reason why I put them in B and not anything higher is because there are white saves and they do die on their approach coming in.
Mm.
So that like kills them pretty much. So yeah, so that's my rank there. Jose, what do you think?
No, I agree. I agree with B. Charge is where the money's at in this version. Um, Charge is basically like speed of the game because here's the thing, their survivability is cool because if they can not only can they get into melee and be safe, they can get in melee and take a pot shot. Whereas regular rebels can't do that. And the value alone of charging units, like it's crazy looking at the game now and realizing like, damn, a lot of things have charge. Like they're really emphasizing charge.
Yeah.
Um, but
Especially when the
because they
game
can
wants to be played at range too, anyways, right?
yeah, well, because like I said, and their flexibility, they can be taken as a one of super squad, they can be taken as a two of no super squad. You can take a bus to help you get there. They're so versatile in the way you can utilize them, and I like them better on POIs because of their ability to charge and be in melee and while taking shots. Like if you run rebel troopers into a melee, like they're not that great and they're probably just gonna get knocked out. But fleet troopers have the ability to charge into melee, and if they don't kill something, they've killed it enough to where they're safe on a POI. So yeah, versatility, utility, charge. I mean, at this point, it's hard for me to say anything with charge on its label is going to be anything lower than a B.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you guys.
I was gonna say too, aren't they the only core with charge currently on their card? Like not upgrading them, like any like giving a core an upgrade. They're the ones that have it.
Well, right, troopers have charge.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Other than riot troopers, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I think
I take it back. I take it back. Riot Troopers are definitely going to be below B. Forget that last statement. I lied. I lied. I'm so sorry, Edward. Edward's gonna hear that and be like, "Yeah, see, that's what I've been talking about." And then he's
He's
gonna
like,
get
yeah, yeah. B, what?
Damn
What? No. Oh.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, moving on. We got the Rebel veterans. Jose, where do you think these guys should go?
uh, I think the only reason I'm not being taken is because it's cheaper to take rebels in your bazillion rebel spam. Uh, they have the same issues that rebels have, even if they have defend. Cool thing is you can spam the Mark IIs. I don't know how great that is. I know they're pretty good in Echo Base. But other than that, I mean, you rarely see them. Um, I can't put them with fleets. I will say they're better than Rebels, so I'll put them in front of the Geos because they can break the Force Org by spamming more cannons. So you could do like I don't know why you would ever do this, but you could do, six Rebel vets and six Mark IIs.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty
yeah.
sure there's a maniac out there who's done that. So
I think my opponent that I played, I think his name was Mowgli.
I'll say I'm looking at you, Mowgli.
Yeah, yeah. He ran this six veterans, six, and it was really good list. Like, thankfully I brought Geos that had the damage out, because if I didn't, he would have steamrolled me. And I would have he probably would have went to the finals, and I would love to see what he could have done with that. Because
Mark
of
IIs are
Leia.
no
Now you
joke.
can't do it anymore, but Leia's two pip allowed everybody that got an order to do a speed one move. So he just throw these things down your throat. However, they changed Leia's two pip, and it no longer does that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I recorded that game on
Yeah,
my GoPro. That whole
yeah.
game.
hmm
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Jose, I interrupted you. Where did you want to put these guys?
Oh, us. See you in front of Geonosians.
All right, John. What about you?
So these guys have prepared positions, right?
They do, and they have low profile.
Yeah, and low profile. Ooh. Um, they move speed one, so yeah, like yeah, they're not great at taking three of them. Spamming them is probably the best way to go. I would probably put them in C as well. Uh, but I think like Geonosians are probably going to be better than them. Uh, because the Geonosians can move faster, and then like the Geonosians also have death from above, so they can get into a position where the veterans are going to take a little bit longer trying to get into position. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. C seems about right. I kind of want to put them in B, but I think you guys kind of outrank me on this one. Is because they definitely hit harder. Um, Now maybe not as hard as Fleet Troopers. However, they could shoot at range 3, which I think helps them out a lot. And you got the low profile position, so you can start on the board, and then you search to hit. So you're rolling at least 4 blacks, and the search to hit is pretty good, right?
You know what's funny? I don't know if you guys caught the last episode of Notorious Scoundrels, but I for the life of me did not even think about this point. But Dash made a point. Everything with prepared positions is speed one.
It is. It is.
I was
It
like,
is,
that's
yeah,
so
yeah,
wild, dude.
It
I
makes
didn't
sense
even...
yeah.
though.
Look, I mean, if you look at the clones coming out, they have it too, and they're also going to be speed one.
Now that's not entirely true. Anakin has prepositions, and he's speed 2.
He's also a Jedi.
Yeah, but he's the only exception to that rule.
Yeah, but again, it makes sense because you get to start on the board,
He he has speed
and
2, free moves, free attacks. Come on.
yeah, Anakin is
So what happens when you're the
Yeah,
chosen
God
one.
tier.
You're not
Yeah.
limited by BS.
Uh,
You are the BS.
yeah. I mean, if
yeah.
you're taking Rex, you don't even need to prepare him anyway.
So Jose, I want to hear what you think on the Mark II. So Mark II is unique. It is an attachment, so that means you have to take a veteran in order to take one of these. So just like Jose had hinted at, you could take 6 veterans. That means you could take 6 Mark IIs, which the rebels can't afford because the Mark IIs are cheap, and so the veterans are pretty cheap themselves. Um, so what do you think, Jose?
Just put them right there with their counterpart. Um, it's a solid dice pool. Critical 2. I think critical in a world where you're seeing a lot more armor, critical carries its weight most of the time. Granted, you're gonna take impact if you're worried about vehicles, but if you don't want and if you don't have a solid impact spam ability, then these guys are just as good. They don't get they get the coordinate right off of their
Yeah,
brothers.
yeah, they get coordinate.
Yeah, so coordinate's pretty cool. 3 pip. You can, order 3 of them, then order 6 because they're gonna hit these guys. Man, I wish we lived in a world and you could tell me if I'm crazy. I wish we lived in a world where they got rid of the detachment keyword and just let these guys be another core option.
No, no, because
No?
no. The reason why. Well, I'll let you finish, and I'll tell you why.
Well, I'm just saying, just because, like, if you're taking vets, you're taking these guys. I don't think I've ever seen them taken. Like, I don't ever, I'm gonna phrase this more back up. I don't think I've ever seen vets played and not take them, like, as an option. Um, Maybe I have, maybe they have, but I haven't seen it. But it just, to me, it's like, I feel like they could just be a core, like a standalone core option, and I don't think I'd be terrified of them.
I so
And they
I'm.
block line of sight because they're emplacement troopers.
I don't think they block on site.
Placement troopers, or you can't move through them. It's one
No,
of
they
them.
they give cover. They give cover, but I don't think they're big enough to block line of sight.
It's a silhouette, right? Their silhouette's huge, bro.
Yeah, you're right. They
Their
are huge.
silhouette is through the roof. I saw these guys get shot through a building that you could not see them through. I know in placement troopers you can't go through them. At least remembered
You
that's how it
you no
went.
no no. You can go through anything now. That was old rules.
Okay, well then
Now
their silhouette's
I'm gonna
huge.
I'm gonna have to check back on
Look
that
that up.
because yeah,
Yeah, look
because
that
yeah,
up.
that might be something. Because I think you're right.
Because
But
if you provide cover, for instance, like area terrain, if the tallest piece of the terrain is where it's at, it provides line of sight blocking unless you're in it. Their silhouette is to the moon, and if they're providing cover, I don't see why they wouldn't provide line of sight blocking. But like I said, I could be just on drugs. I might have to say my alphabet backwards and walk in a straight line.
uh, yeah, I'm actually gonna disagree with you. You said B or C?
He
I
said
with their
C.
brothers.
Yeah, so
Yeah, right behind him.
I'm actually gonna put D. I actually love seeing these on the board only for the fact that these guys are range 3, and so they get a buff in the sense that they got an extra health, but they're just as squishy as all the other rebel troopers. And so because they're range 3, like and they're cumbersome. So if you move, you can't shoot, right? They do have Sentinel,
Ooh.
which helps,
Sentinel.
and they have fire support, which is what's fire support do again in
They
this
get a
version?
free they get a free aim or a free standby, one of them.
I think they get a standby, and then they can still activate with that standby. Like
Oh, when they get an
they shoot with
order.
a standby, yeah. Like you give them an order, they get a standby, and they can pop the standby and then still go after that.
Ooh, that changes my mind. I'm gonna agree with Jose
That's
there.
old standby rules, bro. That never changed. Same
Well,
thing with DTs. Like you could get the standby from Krennic's card, get their attack off with the standby, and then still activate them and make another attack because you're attacking
that's
outside of
not that's
your.
not fire support. Old fire support used to be.
No, no,
Well,
no, no. I'm saying
Oh, it's the
standby.
new fire support. Yeah,
No,
it's
I
the new
know,
oh,
fire
but
new
support.
standby.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying is they do get to go. They can attack twice if they get their standby tripped before they activate. Is what I'm saying because that used to
yeah,
be the
yeah,
trick you could
yeah,
do
yeah,
with Krennic's card and the DTs.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
put
kind
it.
of like um the Tempest Force where you get all the standbys on your ATSTs.
Yeah. So I changed my mind. I think Jose's right.
I
CTF.
take it back.
Yeah, yeah, because that fire support is nice when the rebel veterans have coordinate, and on top of that, when you shoot at them, their firepower doesn't degrade for each life they loses. And they do have Sentinel, so they have range 3 standby. They
And
are
they got a big base too, so that speed one not as bad.
yeah, and they are easy to pick off in the sense that, like, oh, I can just shoot this guy. You can't hide them easily. So that's what I mean when they're easy to pick off. Like, if you can see this guy, you can pretty much delete him. Whereas you can hide cohesion units to be behind cover, LOS blocking, and keep them alive longer. For that reason, I think C is pretty accurate. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Same spot basically because you have to take a veteran to take one of these guys, so they're just gonna sit right behind them,
Yeah.
the vets.
Moving on, we got the Ewok skirmishers. Uh, I want to put these guys. They're pretty cheap. Actually, they're not that cheap.
Well, hold on. Are you ranking them inside of their faction or inside of the mercenary
Ooh,
battle
I
force?
don't know. I think
That's different
yeah,
because
that is different.
that's very different.
So
Yeah,
if they're in the okay, I think we have to rank them in the battle force.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where that really matters. Now, you could technically put these guys in as your core option. However, they are considered a mercenary unit, so they do not take up the minimum slots. And they're good for like one or twice, right? They have 6 guys in the unit. They have low profile, which is good, so they can survive pretty long. Um, but in their battle force, you could take 6 of these guys and you know give them an axe to give them Pierce 1, which we just talked about Pierce, right? You can even make these guys super squad because they're so cheap that I want to put
Do
them
they
in
get a
A tier.
charge or no?
They don't. You could give
Okay.
them an upgrade to give them charge, but you can only give 2 Ewoks that. But the low profile and consider how many bodies there are. Like, granted, they don't have a range profile. I'm gonna put them in B tier. B tier is where I think they're gonna be.
Oof.
Yeah, because they don't have a range, the range profile, like you got to cover the ground and you get shot. And the only good thing about them is that you can spam them, so that way some of them are gonna get there, right? And it really is determined by table dependent if it's got good LOS. Because if there's not good LOS, these guys are dying definitely on
Well,
approach.
now, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
New Legion, yes. Old
yeah,
Legion, I don't think it was an issue.
but yeah, they're cheap. They're 6 in the body, and they got low profile and unhindered, so they're walking over things pretty easily. Um, and even outside of the battle force, I don't think you're taking them. So that's why I'm gonna go B for these guys. What about you, Jose?
Inside of their battle. So old Legion, I would have put them in S inside the battle force because I did take on Ewok spam the last salvio we were at, and there's nothing more disheartening than to do a saber throw fire support, old fire support, and to have these little furry bastards still make it to you. Why won't you die? Monsters in Old Legion. Uh, New Legion, I think inside of their battle force, I would put them in B. Because you're gonna spam them, you're gonna add the double squads, and even with the new line of sight blocking rules of New Legion, it's kind of scary because you can't see through, but you could see in, and these little furry jerks with unhindered can jump out the bushes and grab you. It's that game Ewok Hunt or whatever? What is it?
Oh, the game mode on
Battlefront?
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront
It's
2?
Ewok
Yeah,
Hunt. Yeah.
yeah. So with the new line of sight rules, especially with the way that they block and they haven't hindered, your games of Ewoks turn into Ewok Hunt because they're gonna grab you. They're gonna run through the bushes and just gnaw your face off. So I put them in B.
What about you, John?
I mean, yeah, if we're doing the Battle Force, like, yeah. I mean, outside of it, like, I think they're probably like C behind the Geonosians, but if we're gonna include Battle Force, like, that's probably where you're gonna take them the most. Um, Definitely B tier. Uh, they don't have charge, so yeah, definitely B tier behind the fleets.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right. Moving on. We're gonna go Stormtroopers. Jose, what do you think?
Breaks my heart. But
Don't do it.
pre Legion, pre New Legion. These guys were great. Black people's elbows, red saves, um, slot machine with T21s. They were great. I don't understand why. Let me rephrase this. AMG nerfed their elbows from people's elbows. If you watch wrestling and you're a wrestling freak like me, and you think back to the 2000s, they went from the people's elbow, the most electrifying move in sports entertainment, to the worm. Um, I don't get it. Like if Riot Control had black melees or aggressive surging melees, like black melees, like I would be like, all right, cool, that makes sense. These guys have shields. They have riot shields. They have charge. They have, so why not give them all black? And then regular storms can just be wimpy, movie storms. These are not the storms that are in Andor. These are New Hope storms. These are uh Book of Boba Fett storms. These are Mando storms. These are terrible, 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 terrible storms. Um I'm only gonna put them at B just because they're cheap enough core units that still can hold down points, and they're sturdy enough as long as they're not getting pierced or falling victim to just bad rolls. It's a cheap red save unit that can hold the fort down when you need them to, and they're cheap enough to not give you the flexibility that cheap B1s do, but they're a lot cheaper and to me a little bit more efficient and better than their brothers in the shores.
So where you want to put them?
At the end of B.
Eesh. So I think Stormtroopers have to be D tier, um, because granted they're pretty relatively cheap, right? But they suffer from the Courage One, so they're easy to be suppressed, arguably easy to be panic. And in this game mode where it's easier to spread out, like they're more susceptible to panic. They don't have that much of a great upgrades. Everything costs relatively high. The lowest ones are 20 points, and they have no way of getting onto the battlefield. Like their first action is always to move onto the battlefield, which is most of these core options, right? But then if they get shot at, they're only going to mostly get one action. Granted, a lot of these core options with Courage One are most likely to get one action if they get shot at first. Um, but yeah, I don't still stormtroopers they throw white dye. Sure, they
They're
serve
not there to attack, bro.
I, arguably they are supposed to be attacking. Um, Precise One doesn't save them. Yeah, I don't. I want to say, what did I say? I'm gonna say D.
I only ignore the courage one. Sorry to interrupt. I only ignore the courage one because you're taking them most of the time with Big Daddy Vader. Most of the
Yeah,
time.
but
So the courage one doesn't matter. And like I said, it's just a cheap red save unit. Like no other red save unit is gonna be that cheap where you just who cares if they don't shoot? I just need them to sit. And Rob has made it a core point in his list that these boys are sturdy. They're gonna sit here, and you're gonna have to go take that POI. And if you're wasting time shots on these little poor bastards that are hardy with red saves, you're just gonna eat shit from my other units, and then you
yeah,
really can't deal with them.
these technically are not the cheapest red save unit, but or core option. But we'll get there.
One of
Um,
them.
yeah, I want to put them in D. D is where I want to put them. I don't think they're that effective. They're taking like usually naked and then three and the minimum because they're just not that great. But John, what do you think? Gotta be our deciding factor. We're between B and D at the
Uh,
moment.
yeah, I'm also gonna put them in D as in dog
Ooh.
because, uh, I mean, just the courage one hurts them. Um, and the white dice, like you're not gonna spam them. You're only putting three most of the time because you're trying to put points into Vader. If you're not taking Vader and you're trying to take storms for the point value, like they're just gonna get suppressed off the board. Um, they can hold a point, but that courage one hurts them. If they were courage two, now we're talking B, but because of that courage one, I think they suffer quite a bit. And then they mostly want to sit and shoot, which is not bad on a point, but for white dice, it's kind of hard to hit with that courage one value.
All right, moving
So I'm
on.
going D as in dog.
Makes sense. Moving on, we got snow troopers. Now, snow troopers are the same price. Uh, whoa, no, snow troopers are actually cheaper. No, they're the same price. I'm sorry, they are the same price as stormtroopers. Um, they have steady, and they shoot a white, but they have speed one. Again, I want to put these guys in D because
Mm.
they're slower. they're they're
I
slower.
can't.
They're
God,
slower
sorry,
than
sorry, that was my stomach. It just rumbled. Like I don't know what that sound effect
they
was.
are slower than storms. They still have the courage one. The ion gun's pretty good on them. They do have steady, but it just
They can still move and shoot.
sure they can move and shoot. They're always gonna get at least two air quote actions.
And they can peekaboo and shoot.
Yeah, yeah, they could peekaboo. Okay, okay. You know what? You convinced me. Convinced me.
That's automatically at least
Uh,
better than
Storm, you're
storms.
right. You're right. I'll put them in C. C's where I'll put them at. John,
Thank you.
what do you think?
Yeah, I think Jose also convinced me because you can't take two.
and
So,
and their ion is no longer tapped. So
their
it's you get
ion,
you get an ion, you
their,
get an ion, you get an ion.
yeah, their ion isn't bad. So I'm gonna put them in C, probably in front of the vets.
Because the utility, I've had Rob, and I know I keep referencing Rob, but me and Rob have hellacious games, and where me and Rob are like, let's just have a fun game. And turn three, we're like biting our nails and cussing at each other. And there's nothing more annoying than Rob on a back POI. He's like, poke, shoot, come back. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I've had him use those same storm or snows to hit my tank and double eye on it. It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, they're annoying for sure.
So all right. So we got two C's. Jose, give us your take.
See, see,
C. Okay.
see.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
putting them in.
gotta, you go, John. Where
Oh,
are you putting
sorry,
them? No, where are you
I
going?
was putting them in front of the vets. front of
in
vets.
front of the vets.
Or
Uh,
yeah, the vets.
what's in front? The vets or the Mark II vets? The behind Geos?
Yeah, behind Geos.
Yeah, I agree with that because Geos can do the poke thing and better.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, we agreed.
Yeah, no, you convinced us. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. Once he said peekaboo, I was like, oh, I'm sold.
Dude,
Take my money.
I've been annoyed to no end because it's like peekaboo, shoot, and move, and even if I'm trying to charge them, I still can't get close enough to get into them. So then he like does it again, and I'm just like, you fucking asshole.
Yeah,
All right.
And worse when he had Palpatine.
yeah.
So
Gosh.
I'm gonna go with. Oh, sorry. We're gonna do Stormtrooper Riot Squad. I think
Oh
this is
boy,
the
here we
first.
go.
I think this is the first F tier unit. Because it's got a great melee profile. Oh, okay, you know what? No, no, it's not great. Why is it not great, Jose? Because Stormtroopers had this melee profile, and they took it from the Stormtroopers, gave a worse melee profile to the Stormtroopers, and then slapped on these guys and said it was great. No, it is not great. Hold the line, I think, is a great keyword, and they have charge.
Is
The,
it though?
it is if the whole purpose of this unit is to get into melee, it's great. Like the survivability goes up the roof. Hold the line for the audience is if you're a melee, you surge to hit and you surge to defend. Now the surge to defend is what matter most because that's on uh, red saves, where that's a 50% chance of saving turns into 66% saving. The surge to hit is just dumb in my opinion because storms have surge to hit, and these guys are more expensive than stormtroopers, and
Well,
it's just bad.
it is worse because it's black with no surge.
Yeah, it is worse. But I
Yeah.
mean, but if you're hitting them in melee, it's not worse, right? It's the same.
Yeah, because you get that surge again when
Yeah,
you're
you get that
I'm
in
surge.
melee.
Yeah,
mm,
they don't really have that many great options for upgrades. Like you could put the two robots in there, but that's pretty pricey at 30 points. The marksman's just crap, and
he's
they
never gonna let that go.
again they have courage one. I feel like even
They should
even
have been
fleet
two.
troopers, yeah, even fleet troopers, anything that has charge should be courage too because they ain't no cowards. They're brave. They're charging in there, right? Like that's where I think AMG dropped the ball. Is just this unit is dead on approach. Like it's dying, or at least being suppressed enough to where it doesn't do anything. And its whole reason for existing is it wants to charge into something. So, uh, and I did run a list at the last local tournament with these guys, and Daniel just kicked my butt game one. He just had lats. I was like, huh, what are you gonna do? There's nothing you literally could do to my guys. I was like, yeah, that's valid. Can't do nothing. So, F tier. What do you think, John?
Um, I mean,
He
yeah, I
was
think.
passionate about that.
Because I wanted them to be good. I really did, and let me down.
Yeah, I think they suffer from the same thing that stormtroopers suffer. Is that courage one? They need to get in to be effective. Um, I mean, yeah, in terms of upgrades, I don't think you can. Can you? You can't. Like double these squads, right?
No,
Like,
which
there's
is
no
another
double
negative.
squad.
You should have been
Yeah.
able to double the squad.
No, because you get to the squad personnel slot is the extra heavy slot.
They have
Okay.
yeah, because they have two heavy slots, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but the thing is
Yeah.
that I wish you could have double squad them up because at least now you have Indomitable for your
Yep.
suppression role, right? But
Yeah, which would make sense. So yeah, I think with that, they want to get in on approach. I mean, you can give them like Gideon Hask, give them courage too. Um, but like that's still giving them an upgrade. I hate saying the thing like you got to take them with Vader. It seems like you got to take a lot of things with Vader with courage one. So like if you take them outside of Vader, they're just not great. So I'm gonna probably, gosh, do I put them in D or F? I want to say I'm gonna give them a chance to say D behind uh Stormtroopers.
All right, John. I mean, sorry, Jose. What do you get?
What's Sleeper Cell's courage?
I think Super Soul's Courage is two. Let me check.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'm gonna say two.
yeah, they're Courage too.
What's Sleeper
Yeah,
Cell's dice pool?
The two black. They got a melee.
12 or 14, I think.
Would you rather have a bot that does nothing but gives you extra? I think it gives them a dodge, I think. Um, and it lets them score POI extra far? Or would you rather have two boxing robots that you can't repair, by the way? You have to use treat to bring them back.
Yeah, it's yeah, yeah.
Um, this has to be the worst release ever. Mirror release, anyways. We've had plenty of mirror releases. The Saber, the AAT, snipers, BX droids, and ARC troopers. That might have been a little bit more lopsided, but not this egregious. These boys should have been on pay. Like, how do you see Sleeper Cell? Like, I really wish I could have been there for these testing games to see them use Sleeper Cell versus Riots and see what made them in any world think that this was playable, releasable, on par. I really need to know that. They can get courage too if you put Gideon on them, but only one of them's getting it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, putting
they
Gideon on it.
they uh they need a double squad to for the Indomitable. At bare minimum, I lose the extra heavy slot and give them a personnel slot and let them take damn Becky because all she's good for now is the Courage one. I think is a Courage one or Inspire one. One of them helps alleviate some of the pressure. Jesus, dude. I would like to. So if I was to make these guys even comparable to their counterpart, these guys should have had prepare positions with speed two, or so prepare position speed two courage two, or prepare position speed one spur with courage two. They cannot start on that back end like I when JR says that they get murdered on the way in. I played Edward and he loves riots. The riots are his thing, and I just felt so bad because I was playing buses and Mandos, and the whole time he's like, I can't infiltrate ISF and I can't put these guys out because your bus is just going to shoot the Mandos over and they're going to eat them for lunch. So he had to start scoring round two, not able to get in position to score because he was terrified of getting mauled by Speed 3 Mandos. It was just brutal. By the time his riot troopers got in, it was like three guys. Three guys going into independent dodging Mandos or not making it in, needing to score, and then eating, Black Sun buckshot. So these guys are atrocious, dude. In the words of JR, they need a points cut. they,
Yeah.
these things need to be like 40 points, and
Or
even
they should have
probably
got
that's not enough.
they should get like a scout two or infiltrate something.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
scout or
this
infiltrate, definitely.
this is terrible. I'm sorry, Edward. I know you love these things, but every time you
They
play them,
it
you're
was a
you're
cool concept, but they just
cool models, dude. I would use these
yeah,
models as just regular freak. Tell my opponent, I brought my stormtroopers in case you have a problem with it, but I'm just gonna use these as stormtrooper models.
yeah, yeah. So you said F tier, right, Jose?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
fucking dumb.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
moving
they
on.
definitely need something for sure.
I'm
Moving
still
on.
gonna buy them and try to make them work. Don't get me wrong.
I mean I my list did okay. It did okay. I mean, granted I lost my first game, but I did end up winning the next two games. But again, it's
It was
just
harder than it had to be.
yeah, they just need something. But moving on, we have short troopers. Jose, what do you think about short troopers?
I have yet to use stormtroopers, and I've yet to play against stormtroopers. I
Not
do
shore troopers.
shore troopers. Yeah, I my bad. Sorry, I said storms. I'm an idiot. Uh, they're not being taken outside of fringe people wanting to play fun stuff. And it's hard for me to say I'm having fun when my speed one unit's getting its face kicked in. Um, they're super expensive. Like even their double squad is like their double squad alone is like more expensive or a little less expensive than a fully loaded Super Soka Super Fives. And that's probably because they have prepared positions. But even then, dude, like why would like you prepare position these things for what? And they're also suffer from being courage one. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Um, maybe a case to take them if you're gonna take mark or the mortars, but even then the mortars are only 3 health. Ah man, they're not riot troopers, but they're definitely not vets and Mark twos. I would put them in D tier, and I would probably put them at the back because you're taking Storms over these guys, and Storms are not as. I think Storms should be ahead of Rebels, but even then, Rebels are still seeing more play than these things, anyways. So, Rebel Troopers. So, back end of D.
All right. John, what about you?
And
Yeah, I'm
remember,
gonna
Nick, they're
agree.
speed one.
Yeah, they are speed one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Yeah, because they have prepared positions. You can take them in double squad. They do get that indomitable, but that speed one does hurt them. They're not going to be moving up the board very fast to get into position where you need to. They're literally going to be on the board, maybe grabbing your closest point. That's it. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna say D tier. Same with Jose in the back of D.
So before
Uh,
you move on, sorry. Oh, go ahead and place them, but I wanted to say something before you move on.
well, I was gonna just give my rank.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I think I would put these guys in C tier, and the reason why is I agree they suffer for a lot of things. They do have prepared positions, and I feel like there's a case to be made for spamming them. Um, but again, they suffer from that speed one. They're pretty pricey. They're the most expensive core option for Empire. Pair position could get you killed if you don't place them in the right way. They do have long shot, which is definitely a lot better than veterans. Um,
Yeah,
and they have red saves, so I think they're definitely surviving a lot longer than veterans. Um, so that's why I want to put them in C tier. But you guys outrank me, so they're gonna go to D tier.
So check this out, Jay.
yeah,
A Super Fives with so clone infantry fives, the shotgun with charge, the clone trooper infantry squad, offensive push, and I you could give or take environmental gear if it's 180, what to 182 it's 2 point difference. 180 for that low, right? 180, keep that in mind. 180.
Okay, 180.
The shore troopers with just their T-21 and their shore trooper squad is 154.
Yeah, they probably should get some kind of point
With no
reduction.
charge.
Yeah, yeah, they should probably get. I mean, the long
yeah.
shot
And
is
I
pretty
think,
good, but yeah,
yeah, I was
It's
gonna say it's hard to spam them because of how expensive they are. Like you're probably not gonna get six of them.
sure. I mean, you can,
make this make
but
You
this
can,
makes
but yeah,
yeah,
make this make sense, Jay. 56 points for the big boy squad. 70 points for the big boy squad in shores.
yeah. Yeah. They did. The Empire definitely needs some loves. Um,
yeah. I think so too, for sure.
but moving on, we got the mortar. So the mortar is like the Mark II. You got to take a short trooper in order to take one mortar. Um, this one's a little bit interesting in my opinion. This one costs it's way cheaper than its counterpart, which is going to be at to do
Like
40
30
40
something?
points, 40
40?
points. Yeah, so it's cheaper than all the other cores, but again, what do you think, John? Where do you think you would put the shore trooper?
The mortar, I'm gonna put it right behind the shores because again, you have to take one to take one. Um, they're the mortars aren't bad. With I think they have Sentinel, right?
Uh-huh.
It's suppressive, but I think they're also Courage one, right?
They're Courage 2. So those are
Courage
Mark
2.
2. The
Oh,
Mark 2s are
Courage
also
two.
Courage 2. Yep.
But I think they also suffer again from that cumbersome as well. So, um, and yeah, like you have to take a shore, so you're already eating over what? How much is a naked shore?
So between for a shore and his buddy, you're at 92 points.
Oof. Yeah, just to take 92 points to take that, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in D, behind the shore trooper.
Yeah. So I want to put these guys in actually C. The reason for that is because this has range 4. Granted, it's only 3 white, but it does have the suppressive keyword, and I think suppression matters most in this mode of the game because if you suppress something, it gets one action. If you panic it, does it contribute to the POIs? And it can shoot relatively in a safe spot. Um, so that's why I think it's higher in value than the extra short trooper is because its point cost is cheaper. It's only got 3 health, but again, she can shoot safely from range 4. So someone's got to overextend normally to shoot it. It can get picked up pretty easily from like clone commanders that can shoot out also at range 4. But I think it's way better than what is in D right now. So Jose, round us out. What are you putting it?
D. It's just you gotta pay a shore trooper tax, and that's already stupid as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna most likely have to put 2 shots on target with these guys to try to panic something. And even then, like, they're not a great, even a back point unit because of how fast something can get back there and it's not going to defend itself well. Whereas, like, if you rush a stormtrooper squad, they can be a little sturdier and be a little more mobile and present you with one body instead of my body. These things, I don't know, man. Geez. Yeah, just because they're just alone, it's the same thing. Like they're not taken because the other stuff is taken instead.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Sad day. I like their idea. Just I think AMG is scared of prepared positions, and it's hindering this unit way more than it should because they're not terrifying. Even in prepared positions, they're not terrifying. So
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks, dude.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah, I
sense.
feel like if they get a points drop, I think they'll probably be in like a higher tier because now you're the prepared position sucks, but now their points make it worth it. Right now, their points I don't think are worth it.
I think they'd be sturdy if you cut their double squad down. Like if you shaved off 30 points off of the double squad, like then you in more of a position because now you're prepared positioning this beefier unit that's not just gonna get clapped by Anakin.
Yeah, and then you have long shot with a big squad that can shoot now at range 4, which I think that they need that honestly. I think you drop the big squad cost on them. I think you'll see people playing it more.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our last two. These are going to be mercenaries. They can be taken in Shadow Collective, and the first one we're going to talk about can be taken in all factions. So the first one is the Pikes Syndicates. Jose, where do you think these guys should go?
I'm gonna be odd man out here. I think they were great in Old Legion. I don't think they're great now. Apparently, I'm wrong. I've heard people like, "Oh, this game was awesome. These pikes are amazing." I use pikes and they get melted. Um, I like them a lot less than anything in C tier. But I like them a lot more than anything in D tier. So I put them at the ass end of C because I think everything in front of it has way more utility.
Okay, so I strongly disagree with you.
Yeah, I know
And
you were.
and I want to put these in B tier because they have a way better survivability than Rebel Troopers because they get an independent dodge. So just by not giving order, you get a dodge. And then they have outmaneuver, so they can spend the surge crit. But what also they have is danger sense too. So for every suppression they have, they get to roll an extra 2 white dice. Um, their gun is okay. They all shoot one black. They don't surge to hit. You could give them a long range 4 gun, which is I believe is 2 black, 1 white. Let me double check on that right now. Uh, it's actually 1 red and 2 black, which is a whole lot better. You could give it a whip for only 10 points. And the most important thing about these guys, and arguably I want to put them in A. So if you guys, one of you guys, if you John put them in A, I will agree with you. As you could give them the Pike Syndicate upgrade, which increases their courage by 1. So courage 2 core option is a really good unit, and especially when they could get a dodge and have a higher survivability. Um, and not only that, they get a surge, so they can spin it to on offense, which increases their output a little bit. So I'll put them in B, unless John convinces me otherwise. Where are you gonna put them, John?
62 points.
Yeah, for the capo, but I mean that's you would gladly pay that. Well, I guess you can, right? In Rebels and everything, you can increase their courage by 1 for the Rebel officer, right?
Yeah, I
Which
think. Let
is
me double check.
yeah, which is 16 points. So, but I believe that's all it gives. It does give Inspire 1, which I don't think it that really matters.
If you're taking multiples, it could. That's the difference between being suppressed and not being suppressed.
Sure, 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 sure. Yeah, yeah.
62 points is just too is expensive to me for for the loadout that they have, even if you don't take them with the heavy.
I think the surge matters more on them, plus their courage, because
Well,
you
it's for
mentioned
their
they have
offensive output, right? Because they
yeah,
surge
yeah,
down natively.
yeah. So that's where I want to put it. John, what you got?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but are we mostly going to grade these guys on the Battle Force side or all faction side,
I would say
like the
both
Ewoks?
because so the only difference that capital or syndicates playing the role in the battle force, they count as your minimum. And every other faction outside of that, they do not count as your minimum. So you can factor that in when you're making your letter
And you
grade.
can't issue them orders really. Not that you want to, but you couldn't issue them orders outside of their faction.
Yeah.
So, is the ruling still with like if I don't take a capo, um, do they still go off of my commander's courage value or no?
No, because they have self-preservation. So that is a big
Yeah.
drawback. Yeah. That is a huge drawback,
So
actually.
yeah. So I was gonna say if we're trying to rank them for both, geez, I don't think B tier just because of the self preservation drawback. Uh, I would probably put them in C tier for myself. Probably behind Geos. Um,
You said
mostly
C as
because
well,
of
right,
self.
Jose?
What happened?
You said Jose. What did you say? C, Jose?
C at the ass end.
Okay. I'll compromise and put him here because I think they're a lot better than what's here. Sorry, John. Go ahead and finish your
Yeah.
thought.
I'm just saying. I think I would put them in C. I think they would be higher if self preservation wasn't a thing. But it makes sense because you want your cores or your four factions to run your own identity instead of a bunch of like mercenary units. So I would put
They
them down.
Okay.
Oh, good, John. My bad.
Oh, I was just saying I would put them down in C because of that reason.
They would be a lot higher if it was old cover rules, because that's when their dodges and stuff was way more atrocious. Like that was banking it. That was two off the top. My dodge, the dodge I got from my capo, my freaking danger sense. All like they were bricks, and they're just not bricks anymore.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We got Black Sun Enforcers. John, where do you think these guys should go?
Again, I think the same thing with self-preservation. I'm gonna put them in C. I'm gonna probably put them. Gosh, probably. I'm gonna put them behind the the pikes. They are red save, but they do shoot at range 2, I think, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So yeah, they have red saves. They do have their independent stuff that is pretty good, but I feel like pikes can shoot further than them. In the danger sense with pikes, I think they have a little more defensive tech. So I'm gonna put them behind the pikes and C, mostly again because of the preservation.
Okay. Jose?
A.
Why?
It would have been B, but they got a little nifty change to their shotgun. They don't have charge, but they can now shoot you in the face in melee, and that is 7 red dice that you are gonna have an independent aim to use target or not target. Is it target?
Are you sure they changed
Pers
the range gun to
yes,
melee?
yes.
Let's
The
see.
shotgun. The shotgun is now melee.
Oh, the shotgun is now melee. Got
Shotgun,
it.
yes.
Got it. Got it.
So that's for it. So you're taking these guys with the Vigo. You're dumb if you don't, and it doesn't matter what faction they're in. You're taking the Vigo, and that's giving you 4 red dice for That's sorry, not four. That's giving you yeah. That's giving you 4 red dice in melee from the base squad, a red dice from the Vigo, and you're getting 2 more red dice, Pierce one from the scattergun. You're getting precise one, precise two if you're crazy enough to do target scopes, and you're getting to carry a surge with you for defense. I've used these things religiously inside of Shadow Collective. They hit like trucks, and you got to kill them because if you do not kill them, they are going to steamroll you. And I think that they're also A because the amount of we're starting to see CIS take them, we're starting to see some Imperials take them. Um, it's nuts, dude. And it's just simply just their change. Their shotgun being in melee now is a game changer. I mean, if you were to spam 3 of them, you're basically getting 3 lightsabers that are just gonna eat you alive.
I'm gonna agree with Jose. I think they're definitely A tier. For the fact that these guys hit like a truck, you're definitely taking them with the Vigo. And you're right, the shotgun again is Pierce one. Especially if you run the Vigo. Not only that, you can do the old strategy with the Mag Def, and then have the Surge to crit, which still hits really hard. They do have access to an AA5, which can get them there a little bit closer. They're not too pricey. They are 50, which is relatively high, but not in a sense for what these guys output does. And they have Dauntless, so if you didn't take the Vigo, you could always Dauntless as well. They have independent aim and precise one, which is so good.
They're
Um,
102 if you take them with the Enforcer, the Vigo, and targeting scopes. At that point, you're not missing. You shouldn't be missing.
yeah. So yeah,
And they're the only core unit that has a full red boat in melee, correct? I'm not tripping.
yeah. Oh, I mean, um,
A core unit.
for a core unit, who
No,
else?
nothing else has a full red melee boat.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right.
That's worth 100 points.
Sure. Especially with that Pierce gun. Yeah. Again, Pierce is really good. So, well, there you guys go. There's our list for what we think is the best core option. You can
All we
see
did was prove JR's point. Clones are OP.
again. Well, you could just see their bias. Like they really love clones. Runner up is CIS. You know, the Civil War faction's kind of suffering a little bit, which I'm interested in how they're going to address that.
So
So go ahead.
I do want to say one thing about the clone thing. I think
Okay, go
here it comes.
The biased
I
opinion.
think
Here it goes.
I think as soon as they get another core option, I feel like their points on the reliable one guys are probably going to go up. But because it's the only one you can take other than pikes, I think that's why their points are so low right now. I think once they get another core option, I think their points will go up slightly.
I think you're being too
No,
generous.
that
Yeah.
yeah, that core option shit that's coming.
Yeah. I think that second core
Well,
option.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's our only option for clones, like, I think once they get a second option, this option will go up in price
A
to
speed
counterweight.
a speed one option's gonna make these guys go up in price?
I think the
I think because of the reliable, like, they're gonna try and want you to take the prepared.
what's funny is looking at the trend,
Did
all
John
of the
freeze?
oh, he did freeze.
No, he got carbonated.
What's funny is I could hear him in the garage talking, so he hasn't noticed yet. um, Honestly, what I was gonna say, noticing the trend of how speed one prepositions are more expensive than their counterpart, I think they're gonna be more expensive. So that's my take on that.
Oh no.
So yeah, we lost him. We
He
lost him.
they hit him with the Death Star.
It's all right though. There, he's coming back on. He's coming back. But
Oh.
oh, John,
Yeah, yeah.
there you
You
go.
thought you got hit by the Death Star, bro.
Oh, I
They're
did.
like, we,
I got
they're like, he can't say what he's about to say. Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
yeah, I got hit by the AMG hammer.
What were you
Yeah,
saying?
get him
Say
out of
your
here.
point.
Get him out of
I
here.
want to hear what you had to say.
I was just saying that I think uh, that they will go up in points when the uh, other core option available comes out, because I feel like the reliable is a little undercosted, but because it's our only it's the only option other than pikes, I think that's why they're so low. So I feel like once the other option comes out, they're gonna raise the points on the infantry.
I think they're gonna be more expensive, John. I said this when you were dead or or gone.
When you were
Yeah,
dead.
when I got
Yeah.
hammered.
I think seeing the trend of veterans and short troopers be more expensive with fortified position and a speed one, I think the marksmen are also going to be more expensive than these clone infantry. And again, Jose would be right. That would mean they're dead on arrival.
Well, I was gonna say they only shoot range 3, so they're not gonna have range 4 right off the rip. But I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about. Like, anyway,
Yeah,
that's my thought on.
They might have the short trooper problem.
we'll find out. But moving
Yeah.
on, I think I guys held you guys here long enough. Um, John, you got any last words?
Vet Fest. Please come to Vet Fest. Support our veterans. They put on a great show for us at Vet Fest. And trying to get GT status as well. With 32 players. So anybody that is on the fence, please come. You'll have a great time.
Yep. What about you, Jose? Any last words?
Come to Vet Fest. Come chill with the lads. We're way better in person. I promise you, we're a lot more fun in person. And after the event, we might go out and go grab some drinks. Come hang out. Also, remember Imperial Goldfish is going to be streaming. Do us a favor, do them a favor, go show them some support on their YouTube channel. They put out great content, not only in streaming but also in games and stuff. Great dudes. Appreciate them coming out for us to help us out with that. Go show them some love.
And last but not least, actually don't come to VetFest if you don't play Legion. But if you do play Legion, come to VetFest. I'm gonna beat this over a dead horse. Want to get GT like the boys said. But anyways, thank you, audience. Thank you, boys, for joining. And the audience, thank you guys for listening. If you're still here, John, we always appreciate you always listening to us.
Thank you.
But anyways, boys, until next time, see ya.
See ya.
Later.
I don't know how to stop this thing. Oh, there we go.